I'm not making anything, buddy. We're going live on YouTube right now. I don't know how to do anything fancy here, and there is going to be a little bit of a delay, it seems like. Live on YouTube, right? Welcome to Networking with Nathaniel. Oh boy, I'm getting okay. There we go. Welcome to episode 34 of Networking with Nathaniel. I have the pleasure of being here with Noah Lubko, all the way from Tel Aviv. That's why you see the title of this is, investing from abroad, doing deals from abroad. This is the first time we've kind of talked here. He seems like he's doing some great things, and I really want to dive deeper into that. He's currently doing direct to agent, working with a team for the past 4 months, about December of 2023. He joined Sub 2 in 2022, and we didn't talk much about it because I wanted to be kind of excited and prepared for the story that we're going to go on. But I appreciate you joining me here, Noah. How you doing, brother?
I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Nathaniel.
Yeah, man, you're ready to kind of wrap your day up at this point. It's kind of pushing 8 o'clock at night for you, right? We're here in the middle of a day. The day's kind of just getting started.
Yeah, when you work from a different country, so you need to be prepared to work in a different time zone. So
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes the day is gonna end after midnight. Easy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's good that you're able to adjust your schedule accordingly, and we'll kind of dive into that. But I'd love to hear your journey in Sub 2, how you got kind of started, what you worked on, and how you ended up kind of pivoting and finding a team to do direct to agent with.
All right, thank you. All right, great. That's a great question. And what my journey started by me buying. I did a flip actually
Okay.
in Cleveland remotely,
Yeah.
before joining Sub 2, and
Okay.
then actually also buying some more rentals. But at some point, I just ran out of money. And then I said, okay, I see that Pace is doing something interesting and is doing creative and do subject to, so maybe I can buy houses without money.
Mm,
And I just at some point, without understanding exactly what Sub2 is doing, I just jumped in and joined Sub2. So in the beginning, I wanted to be an investor, and I want to buy, and I'm an investor right now, but I'm more of doing wholesaling.
okay.
But at the beginning, I just wanted to be an investor. I wanted to buy houses with
Yeah.
subject to. So I got into sub two, and I wanted to be an investor. I wanted to buy houses, but um, I just couldn't find the formula.
Mm,
But when I got more inside and understand, and I've seen more Zooms, more daily dials, I understood, okay, I got the feeling that being a wholesaler could be a great business model.
mm.
The fact is that you can make deals out of nothing, as you know,
Yeah.
right? That's the cool thing. That's
Yeah.
the real cool thing. And I've started getting into that. And I had some challenges. I mean, I never spoke English. I started speaking English last April.
Wow.
Yeah, and so just think of, I have to speak to people. I have to speak to people. I have to convince them to that I want to buy them house.
Yeah.
I'm doing DTA low equity, and I have to do it
Yeah.
without having perfect English.
So that you were in Sub 2 for 6 months before you really started speaking English?
So I've always heard English,
Okay.
and I've learned English in school and I've learned English in college. But the difference between speaking and just listening and understanding, that's a totally different animal. And whoever, I don't know, did you ever try to learn a different language?
Well,
So
yeah, we did Spanish in high school, but very
so
un poquito.
right. So
Yeah.
so there's a different, it's a totally different animal between
Yeah.
actually speaking. No, because your face is activating different muscles, and you need to understand what you're gonna say and everything. That's it's more complicated.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine like having something prepared is one thing, but having a conversation, being able to think and like, mirroring and having rebuttals and for objections and things like that, I'm guessing that you honed your teeth. You mentioned the daily dial. For those out there that might be listening, I have no idea, by the way, if anybody's live. So I've seen nothing in the chat. I don't have any sort of, oh, it does say two people are watching. So um, show Noah
Your
some love in the
father,
chat if there's anybody there actually listening. But for those that are listening, the Daily Dial is a role playing that Sub2 kind of puts on 4 hours a day. They also where you can kind of come in and practice with other students and other like leaders of the community. So Noah, how much of that did you do when you first got started to kind of like, hone your skills?
so I've tried to do it as much as I can,
Mm,
and I definitely feel like I can do more. And I'm always trying to consume and see other people making calls.
yeah.
We've got a lot of great resources in the on YouTube and in our community in Sub 2. But you know what? You can always be better at
Mm, yep.
closer. And I've actually just joined another course,
Okay.
but with the DQ,
Okay.
Daniel.
Oh yeah.
So he's opened a new course. I just joined him right now because I want to be better as a closer.
Yeah,
You know?
that's amazing. You're learning from one of the best then, or you're going to be at least. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I go back. So it's April 2023. It sounds like you're kind of finding your way still. Are you doing your own direct to agent low equity outreach at this point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So the fact is that at that time I still had a W-2.
Okay.
Still had a W-2. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
It's all the
That's
people blowing you up saying, "Hey, no, I see you." No.
yeah, that's my app, that I'm
Yeah.
using to call other people. So so I still had my W-2. So I still had my W-2 in Israel. And last November, I've quitted that W-2 and I
Okay.
went into real estate full scale. And then I've joined a team. I've joined a team by Chris Neary.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that name.
So 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 he's a leader in North Dakota.
Okay.
First of all, he's a great closer, an amazing closer, and I've joined some of his calls, amazing. He's kind of those closers who knows when to ask the right questions at the
Mm,
right time, you
yeah.
know, and he's a great person. So yeah, I've joined his team, and then I started making those DTA low equity calls. And prior to that, I've tried all sorts of different things, but I pretty much zoned in when joined his team.
Yeah. What were you
And
doing as your W-2 before you ended up making this pivot to kind of full time?
that's a great question. That's a great. I've been a web developer. I've been an IT. I've been a computer science engineer.
Okay. So really
For
transferable skill set.
definitely, definitely. Most of the time, I'll be talking to the computer.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, why aren't you working?
Exactly. Why is it working and everything? And yeah, and completely different skill set,
Yeah,
talking to people, understanding their needs, understanding their pain, come up with the right question at the right time,
yeah,
answering objections. So that's definitely a big leap in getting out of my comfort zone, you know?
Yeah.
It's a big
Well,
journey.
it's amazing that you were able to take the leap. How did you know that November was the right time to like cut ties with this W-2 and kind of jump full time in?
So so you can say that I felt like I have enough money on the side,
Mm,
so I can do it. So I can do it calmly,
okay.
you know.
Yeah.
And you know, it's somewhere inside my mind. I still think, you know, the W2 can wait. It could always be there, you know.
Mm,
I can always go back to there.
yeah.
That's that's not complicated. That's easy for me, you know. But doing
Yeah.
the going into real estate, doing what I'm doing right now, that's a totally different challenge, and I really like it.
I don't know how you're going to feel about this. The having the option, the kind of fallback to being like, yeah, I can always go to W-2 might hinder people from really saying no, like making this thing work. How are you kind of dealing with that a little bit? And that's maybe just my like mindset thing going,
Yeah.
I could always just go work at Costco or whatever and pay the bills that way. But when you're, for me at least, when I'm able to go, no, that's not an option. Like this is the way. We got to figure this out. It allowed me to kind of just like focus on how do we figure it out. So how are you kind of dealing with that, I don't know, mindset issue a little bit?
So yeah, that's definitely something that maybe even stopped me a little bit,
Mm,
you know. But I'm always thinking about the work, you know, and the fact that the reason why I quit is I just don't really want me to have a boss, you
mm,
know, that's gonna tell me what to do pretty much every hour in the day.
yeah,
No. I want to have my own business. I want to set the culture, you know. I want to set the environment. So that's a totally different challenge, but that's what I want to do. And not only that, the fact that I can do what I can do now, and I can move from country to country. I can do it from Israel. I can do it from Portugal if I want to do it tomorrow, or South America.
yeah.
That's that's something amazing. That's flexibility that I will never have with my W2 at least.
Right. Yeah, as long as you have an internet connection, I'm assuming you're making calls through like a CRM or something that as long as you have an internet connection, you can do your job. As long as you set aside something that I've struggled with like when we take trips to see family and stuff is like setting aside time during the day, like, no, I still got work to do. So maybe if dad's out there listening right now, we will be doing work when we're coming to see you guys in a couple of weeks. We're currently making a big pivot in our business, and it's requiring a lot of daily tasks being done. And so I got to make sure that keep the blinders on, so to speak, when we're traveling. Um, not to take away from visiting family and stuff, but
Yeah.
um, so it sounds like I know you mentioned you didn't want to have kind of a boss looking over you. It sounds like probably Chris has empowered you to kind of, give you a lot of autonomy during your day. I'm kind of curious, like what you being 8 hours ahead from me, 11 hours ahead from anybody on the West Coast. Oh, I guess we didn't even cover that yet. Where are you guys calling specific markets, or are you kind of calling all over the place? What does that look like?
So I try to call those markets that are more closer to me.
Hmm,
So it's Florida,
okay.
usually about 7 hours difference. So I'm hours ahead from East Coast.
Oh, that was 8.
So
No, it's 8:12 there, you said.
right, no, it's seven.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it was 8. Okay. My bad.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's not as bad, but it's yeah, still.
no. So I guess the main thing that bothers me with that is the fact that my time is limited.
Hmm.
So I really can't like do 12 hours if I want to do it, which something that I'm not even sure it's possible, but I'm sure there are people that are doing it, you know?
Yeah.
And because you know what, if I want to do 12 hours, or even if I want to do direct to sellers, I mean, most sellers would like you to give them a call after they finish work,
Mhm.
which pretty much that's the middle of the night for me.
Right.
And I will never gonna close that deal. I'm gonna be a zombie. You know,
Yeah,
it's gonna.
yeah.
So yeah, so I have to do it in the middle of the night in English, you know, and I'm gonna do it. So that's why by the way, that's why I chose direct to agent because I can do it. I can have 5 6 hours quality, 5 6 hours while the agents are working. That's awesome for me.
Right. Yeah, you're catching them during their kind of the bulk of their day. What is
Yeah,
the like you're calling in Florida. What does the 5 to 6 hour window look like? Um my experience with the agents is like kind of calling before 9:30, 10 o'clock. Typically you're,
exactly.
hey, I'm in meetings or whatever like that, but I don't do it I'm not calling agents like you are.
Yeah. So I'm calling from 9 a.m.
Okay.
and I'm for about 5 6 hours.
Okay.
So I'm supposed to call right now. And yeah, so I'm calling about 5 or 6 hours. And most of the time, agents definitely pick up the phone. And if not, you can call tomorrow. You can double dial. You can send a text. Most of the time, the agents are going to return my call. And if not, that also happen sometimes. But that's they just don't answer to anyone. Not
Right.
only me.
Yeah. Yeah, Pace says if you didn't dial twice, you didn't dial once. And so I've found, man, sometimes people the phone will go straight to voicemail. You dial them right away again, and it rings and they pick up. You're like, oh, okay, I'm glad I dialed again and didn't just get discouraged. So I know
Right.
there's some people that are going to be listening to this right now. There's people that might be listening in the future, but definitely
Right.
double dial. And when we say double dial, it means ring, let it ring. If they don't pick up, call them right back immediately because
Right.
sometimes their phone will be on silent and it breaks the silence, or sometimes, it'll be on, yeah, do not disturb, it breaks the do not disturb. And like I just called a friend this morning and it went straight to voicemail. And then I called him back and it rang immediately. It just so happened we were both dialing at the same time. But um, you do you have kind of a plan with this team? I know that some teams put like a 6 month kind of piece together or a 12-month piece together where like, hey, after this amount of time, we're either parting ways or we're promoting you or something like that. What does that look like, if anything?
So no, we didn't talk about that. We definitely didn't talk about that. Um, so I'm gonna tell you how I work with Chris.
Okay.
So so usually I'm gonna then make those phone calls to the agents, and I can pretty much submit we have a Trello board, and we're gonna submit a lead. I'm gonna submit a lead.
Okay.
So it's basically either that I've been talking to the agent and the agent has declined a subject to for some reason, or I might have did talk to the agent and the agent agreed to accept a subject to offer. And usually it's gonna send me a mortgage statement, and then I'm gonna take all the data and I'm gonna submit it into the Trello board. And the most important thing about the lead is for me at least the fact that we got a motivated seller,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
It has to be motivated, you know, he has to be motivated. Now, sometimes he might he might wouldn't like to do a subject to, so that's what also something that I can bring. So what I like to do is I like to bring the 4 pillars, which are, of course, now I forgot everyone.
You want me to
That's
go? Yeah, motivation, timeline, condition, price. It's been a while since I've gone through the four
yeah,
pillars, but
right.
not necessarily in that particular order, but those are the way that I like to kind of um, go with them. Like, is this person,
Yeah.
like you said, is this person motivated? And would you mind explaining, Noah, like for a low equity kind of deal? And I have another question after this one, based on your subject to stuff. But for a low equity deal, like, what's the motivation there?
So to me, just that's my experience for what from what I've seen, that it has to be a real motivation. Now, if the family is growing, that's not a real motivation. And at some point, I'm just gonna see that the agent has canceled the listing, you
Mm,
know? Or if you have to commute for an hour, that's not a real motivation. They will never agree to do a subject to if that's the motivation. Now, if they're getting a divorce, they have to sell.
yeah,
And they can't get their number, they have to sell. If it's a VA and they already moved to a different state, the house is standing, and they can't rent it, and they don't want to rent it out, it's a great motivation.
yeah. We don't want a
Um,
house just in another state sitting there collecting dust.
exactly.
And what um what would you may or may not know the answer to this, but I've never asked it to anybody before. If somebody was going through a divorce and they're both on the mortgage, or maybe
Mhm.
just one or the other's on the mortgage, how does that play out with a subject to transaction?
So it depends. It depends.
Okay.
First of all, they might have the divorce already finished,
Mm,
right? So, and in that case, they already set it up. So only one of them is on the mortgage. Or you know what? From the get-go, one of them were only on the mortgage. Now, with that being said, they have to be motivated. That all comes to motivation.
yeah,
Even if they're both on the mortgage and they both want to finish with the house and they want to wipe their hands clean from the house, if they're motivated to sell the house, so and they don't want to bring money on closing, they're gonna do a subject too,
yeah.
even though they're both on the mortgage, you know? So it all comes to pain, how painful is there, and try to have a conversation with the seller itself, at some point, and just highlight that pain.
We've got our first question in the chat, Noah, and it's perfect. It's right along what we're talking about right now. Thank you, Christopher, for asking. What's the worst or hardest opportunity that you've encountered so far?
The worst or hardest.
Yeah, put you on the spot.
So, in life, or
In life, let's go with a seller's situation.
so you know what? It's really interesting. It's really interesting because some of the leads that I've submitted to Chris were rejected at the beginning. You
Oh,
know, yeah, they got and other people got those contracts.
hmm,
And other people got those subject to contracts,
wow.
but we always followed up on the house. That's what we always do. And simply because of the fact that Chris follow up with those guys, with the house, we're gonna close on one of the on one house next week,
Wow.
right?
Yep.
And at the beginning, we did get the contract. We did get, and someone else got the contract. And Chris gave him a call, gave the agent a call, and he told her, "Listen, the price that they give you, it's too much,
Hmm, it's not gonna work.
and yeah, it's not gonna work." And guess what? A week later, it got canceled.
Hmm.
But who did the agent get a call, even though our offer wasn't the best? So it's all about credibility.
Yeah. And one thing to touch on there, like no matter if you're doing direct to agent or direct to seller, or if you're like dealing with wholesalers, like follow up. I mean, really any probably aspect of life is follow up is key. If you're trying to build relationships with friends and stuff, like you got to follow up, you got to stay connected. Otherwise, things just go to the wayside. If you're not following up with the agent there, and you're not having a conversation and like you're saying, building a credibility, like, hey, this price isn't going to work. And maybe for these reasons, they laid them out. And then a week later, the price didn't work. And the agent goes, oh man. Noah or Chris said who the price is, I should give him a call back. Um,
Definitely.
where does it sounds like you're kind of generating the leads and then you're handing them off to somebody like Chris? Is that what's going on at this point?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And I just want to highlight that fact, because um, so it just shows you that if you're gonna join the team and if you're gonna bring your value, you can you can you can make money in real estate. You just have to find the right place. You just have to find what you need to do.
Yeah.
So even though, yeah,
Oh
go
no, go ahead.
ahead.
Yeah. No, no, no.
I just wanted to say, even though that I'm still I'm still learning how to be a better closer. I'm still learning how to be a better closer. I can still generate money. I can still
Right.
generate leads. I can have
Yeah.
good conversation. I can get the motivation. I can talk to them about subject too. And you just have to find, and that's, by the way, I just want to say that's the cool thing I feel about sub two, that we have a safe environment.
Yeah.
We have a safe environment that people can join teams and work together. I mean, look, I'm in Tel Aviv, like you just said. I'm
Yeah.
working with that is in North Dakota. It's not in North Dakota, and we have other people on the team. And by the way, everyone in our team already signed the contracts, which it's amazing.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so
Sounds like you've got a good culture there. You've got a good, leader in Chris that's, empowering you guys to do your thing. He's also probably teaching you along the way. But what I'm also hearing, Noah, is that, you're taking things into your own hands and you're trying to continue to grow your skills outside of the team environment. You mentioned the daily dials, and you mentioned how you're going through Daniel Quijano's new sales course as well. So like you got to pat yourself on the back for continuing to educate yourself, and knowing that you have these goals that you want to achieve, and you have to build the skill set up that is going to help you get there. um and I've taken stock a lot lately as we've made this pivot. Like, I'm not where I want to be yet. And once we get to where we want to be, we'll probably have new places that we want to be, and we won't be there yet. But we're right where we're supposed to be right now. And continuing to put in the work every single day. You're making 5 to 6 hours of calls every day, and you're starting this new course. And this is going to segue. Actually, we're not going to segue yet. We're gonna keep going down this path. Um, I just wanted to give you props for that. A lot of people that I've met come into sub two and they have these lofty goals that, like, I'm gonna be a billionaire, and I'm gonna own all the real estate. And then you follow up with them a month later and you're like, hey, what have you been up to? Oh, I haven't done anything. Well, why'd you join that? Um, Not to call anybody out, but um, you've mentioned a lot of times, you're doing sub two because you're doing low equity. Are you building these relationships with these agents and then also making cash offers as well? Or are you guys just solely focused, like, this is our blinders, we're only doing subject to deals?
um, so that's an interesting question. And so the fact is we're speaking to agents, and agents always have some other listings, you
Mhm.
know. So I can talk to an agent and I can have a good chemistry with him, and I can have a relationship, as you said, and he's gonna send me a listing, and that listing might not be a low equity, but it could be a full gut house,
Right.
no? And in that case, we can do something else. And also, you know what? We can do some short sale. And that's actually one of the houses that we closed. We're doing right now a short sale.
Wow.
It started up as a subject to, but when then we understood with the agent together that sub two couldn't work, and now we're transitioning into a short sale.
How,
So
how far are you into that process? Because I just started one myself that kind of the similar thing. We started a sub two. The numbers weren't going to work based on how much, rehab the thing needed. It was just going to be too much cash left in the deal. And now we're pivoting to a short sale. Ours doesn't look like it's going to work out based on the information we know. But like I said, we're just like, I think a week into having an accepted contract. Where are you guys at in the process?
so we just started it.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be between 2 months to 6 months, right? That's the usual
Right.
amount, maybe more.
Yeah, from what I hear, it could be, yeah, a long time. You're like,
Right.
oh, I forgot that we had
So,
a contract on that house.
so yeah, so look, real estate is the marathon, right?
Yeah.
So definitely, but um, so from what I know, so what I've talked to Chris, which he's the expert. I never done a short sale. So from what I've heard from him, he told me that the comps are to our favorite, you know, so it might
Okay.
work. So yeah, it might work, but you never know. It all depends on the bank here, right?
Yeah. I mean, they have, from what I understand, and it's bank by bank, it's like they have certain numbers that they have to hit. And if the numbers don't work for them, then it's not a deal. But it also seems like if there's no offers coming in on the house, if there's no other offers coming on the house, well, then this is the best offer that you guys are going to get. You don't want to just sit there and hold the darn thing. But I'm not a big bank, and I'm not going to get bailed out when I have a bunch of
Yeah.
properties that
I mean,
don't give me out my soapbox. Um, I wanted to. I appreciate you talking about your journey so far. I want to kind of know what is on the horizon for you, Noah. Like, um, do you have a 6 month, 12-month kind of plan? What does that kind of look like? You can't
so
hear the baby screaming in the background, right?
no, no,
Okay. Yeah, he's been screaming for like 15 minutes. Like, what the heck?
really. So,
Yeah. Brit
um,
Brittany, my wife's taking care of it. I hear
yeah,
her coming in and out, but it's
I'm
very,
concerned that he's alone. He's alone.
yeah, he's scared. No, he's normally sleeping right now, so I don't know. But um yeah, sorry, I got
Yeah,
distracted there.
yeah.
Yeah, what's kind of the shorter term goals that you're looking to hit, and what does kind of the future hold for Noah Lubko?
So honestly, I'm just looking to be better as a closer. So right now, I'm only talking. So if you can think about it, I'm only at the beginning of that process.
Yeah.
That's the amazing part. I'm making money, and I'm only in the beginning of the process. And I'm only talking to agents. I never even made a triple call with the seller together. So that's my next goal. Do a
That's it.
triple call with the seller, and then close the deal by myself
Mm.
with a TC. And then once I'm gonna do that on a weekly, I don't know, on a weekly basis, then I'm gonna start making calls directly to sellers, maybe. So, and after being good enough and understand that I'm good enough as a closer, and that's the short goals for me. But then I want to understand what kind of pipeline I can do as a business,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
And but my goal for now is just get better at the
Sharper than a
closing.
knife. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Does it make sense?
I love it. Yeah. I mean, oh, it's another thing that I notice a lot, and people in sub two, and you even kind of mentioned a little bit how your journey started this way is like people come in and they go, I want a wholesale, I want to do direct to seller, and then 6 weeks later they haven't closed the deal, and so they go, okay, maybe I'll do direct to agent, and then 6 weeks later they haven't closed the deal, and like maybe I'll do TC, and it just revolving door. What you're saying is, no, I am focused on doing direct to agent right now. Sure, I have these other goals that eventually, I want to call sellers directly and I want to be able to have the transaction completely in my control. But right now I'm focused on this. And until I get really good at this and I'm able to take it all the way through the process, like this is my focus. So like, we've made the pivot and we're focusing on the one thing right now, which is raising capital, but talking to people like you. Let me just plug NathanielHuckSepian.com.
Yeah.
If you're looking to lend money, that's where you should go. I'd love to have a conversation with you. But we talked beforehand. I have a couple questions for you. I hope you're prepared at this point. Um, oh
I'm
wait,
not. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I forget which question you decided you want you besides the book one.
So let's talk about something exciting that I did.
Okay, let's hear it. Oh, well, I mean, you're in Israel. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on. I want to
Yeah,
actually ask you about that as well.
let's
So,
talk about good things, not bad
yeah,
things.
yeah, no, let's ask.
So it's gonna sound boring to 90% of the Americans, but in February, I went to Jacksonville for 3 weeks.
Okay.
Right?
Especially if you're like in the Florida area, you're like, what
So
the
I
heck?
didn't went to New York. I didn't went to New York. I didn't went to Miami. I went to Jacksonville.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. What is this your first time here?
So this is my second time
Okay.
in States,
And
but
what was in Jacksonville that brought you here?
so honestly, I've been doing it virtually for so long. I want to see the houses myself. I wanted to
Yeah.
meet people. I wanted to connect. I went to a power hour in Jacksonville. I
Okay.
went to meet up with Pace in Orlando.
Okay.
That was like a 3 weeks, very hectic, very interesting for me.
Yeah.
And just seeing, seeing things from my with my own eyes. So that
Yeah.
was really exciting.
That's amazing. It does I could see how you said that. I was like, what is he gonna say right now? That's gonna sound boring. And sure enough, yeah, you hit it right on the head. But for somebody like you that's in Tel Aviv, like coming over here and seeing your market that you've been doing deals in, pretty exciting. Um, yeah, how are things over there? Since we're there, like I kind of stay away from the news a little bit, but
You know
um
what? I'm gonna let you know something. I try to stay away from the news also.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's a lot of bad energy, but and so I feel like in Israel things are not the best. But yeah, we're gonna push forward.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
like the bad energy for sure. I noticed I forget who I heard it from a while back as like only focus on the things that you can control and most of the time the stuff that you hear on the news is like kind of completely out of your control. Um,
yeah. I
so
feel like I should have a better answer.
no, I don't
As
know.
an Israeli, you become like an ambassador of Israel everywhere you go. So I
Yeah.
need a better answer for that.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. I did the second kind of question is like books, podcasts, documentaries. Do you have like a top 3 to 5 that you could think of? I've been compiling a list of all the people that I've interviewed and I've got a pretty good one. Some keep continue to pop up, so we'll see where yours are.
So, are you familiar with David Goggins?
Yes.
Can't Hurt Me, the book.
Yeah, dang. Yeah.
So you know what? What's his name? Joe, the podcast, the famous podcast. Joe, I
Rogan?
forgot.
Yeah, Joe Rogan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan have this long podcast, like 4 or 5 hours. He's gonna speak to someone.
Hmm.
By the way, they're all very interested. All very interesting. But after about 10 minutes, I'm gonna say, okay, this is too much. But the only podcast that I managed to stay and listen to every word of it was David Goggins,
Mm,
you know? And for some reason, it really resonates with me, the discipline thing.
yeah.
You know? Sometimes it's kind of crazy, but if you try to take the good things, it's talking about being disciplined.
Right.
And you know what? Cold calling, you know what it is? It's discipline.
Yeah.
Sitting and pick up the phone and saying to yourself, you know what? Maybe this one, it's not it's maybe I should call the next one, or just like we talked earlier, they didn't pick up on the first dial. Maybe I shouldn't call on the
Yeah.
second dial.
Move on to the next one. Yeah.
Right. So it's all about discipline.
Yeah.
So that's what I took from David Goggins.
Yeah, I love we're gonna get to the next couple too, but um you're building, by keeping disciplined and making your 5 hour calls, 5 to 6 hours of calls and joining these other these other sales courses and things like that, your efforts are compounding over time, 3, 6, 12 months, 6 months from now, and you probably are even able to do it now from when you joined this team back in December. You're going to look back and go, oh my gosh, like what was I doing on the phone? I was a baby. I couldn't even speak English. Like, so it is like he's a little heavy for me.
Yeah,
I don't know, for a
I
lack
get
of a
it.
better word. Yeah, but you're correct. His discipline is infectious, and if you can take anything out of that, it's like that's what this guy does. He's like, I'm disciplined. There's nobody's going to take anything. Nobody's going to hurt me. You can't hurt me. Because I
Yeah.
I have a singular focus.
And what I like, what I like when I try to build something to have a process. So I like to break it down into small pieces. But at some point, you're gonna get to the smallest pieces, which is just about, lower your head and just grind it out and doing the work.
Yeah,
And that's what I feel David Goggins is doing.
right.
You have to figure it out first.
Yeah, what is the thing that you're going to be disciplined on? For a lot of us, it can be tough sometimes, especially when you're coming into a big group or you're, like sub two or like even just figuring out real estate by itself. There's so many ways that we can skin the cat. I don't know why I use that. It's such a terrible, it's such a terrible analogy, but there's so many ways that you can attack, and do deals and things that it's 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 difficult sometimes to just go, this is the thing that I'm focusing on. This is the thing that I'm going to allow the day-to-day building up to compound over time. Because if you're jumping around all the time, like TC, I'm going to be a closer, I'm going to be a connector, like you're not allowing the skills to build up over time. We
Mhm.
do have I want to get to the books. Somebody asked if you are going to the Squad Up Summit. I am not Sunday. I'm gonna guess at the answer for Noah, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know what? I wish I would. I wish I
Yeah.
was going,
Yeah,
you know?
I kind of feel this. I just did my first meetup on Monday night. I was kind of hosted the Pace meetup here in Augusta, and it was amazing. It was infectious, and it made me realize, like, dang, I should be going to these things, because there were just so many connections and things to be building. But the timing doesn't work out. We're doing some other things. It looks like maybe being in the computer industry, Noah, did you build the software or to handle the contacts exchange volume with leads and agents you contacted? Again, I'm going to guess at the answer, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
So no, I didn't. It's pretty simple. It's just getting the data from PropStream, put it in Excel sheet. Then I have my phone, and I'm just making the dials.
Oh, you're just doing it straight from your phone.
Straight from my phone.
Wow. Okay. Um, I'm responding here to people. This is all new to me. So thank you for being patient, everyone. Noah as well. Let's see what other books you have in store for us. Or
So
podcasts or documentaries that find your fancy, particularly fancy.
so I did read 4 hours a week,
A 4 hour work week.
work week exactly,
Yeah.
which pretty much resonate with the first book, with what I want to do, and once you understand what you need to be good at, or at least what I understand, so that you always need to automate it, you know? If you can do the same thing on a work week, and then you can do it on a 3-day work week, and then you can do it on a 1-day work week. It's always about looking the automation for me.
Yeah.
I mean, first you need to understand what you need to be good at and to be good at. That's the
Yeah.
first. And let's just say, for example, as a closer, for a closer right now, I'm gonna have 100 calls, and I'm gonna close one.
Mm.
But then you can see Jerry Norton doing a call with Daniel and close a deal in 4 minutes. So
Got a sharper knife, that's for sure.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But how many hours of calls did he
Right. Yeah. He's had a lot of years of that compounding. formula that we've been talking about. And you're kind of mentioning the 4-hour work week. I want to give a shout out to Jesse, my our business coach. Um, he talks about the path of least resistance all the time. That's part of like kind of what I it's been a while since I read that book, but automating things and delegating things and taking the path of least resistance. That way you can focus on your highest and kind of best use. Um, where where in IL is your market? I'm not sure what that means, Sunday. Until I get clarification, what's the third book? Or unless that makes sense to you, Noah, where in IL?
It's Israel most of the time, but
IL is Israel? Oh, Israel.
yeah, so
Well, he's in Tel Aviv Sunday. If you
yeah,
missed that earlier, what's the third book you have in store for us, Noah?
I don't have a third book,
Oh
sorry.
no, okay. You, we're just going to use the Joe Rogan podcast, the David Goggins one as your third, because you mentioned that.
Definitely, you should all watch it. It's just interesting, you know what? You
Yeah,
don't have to like it. It's interesting.
yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on. If anybody has any more questions, Noah and I are going to hang out. Okay, yeah, IL is Illinois. That's where
Okay.
I'm not sure where that came from, Sanjay. It's in his name.
Okay.
Oh, IL is in your thing there.
Really?
In your oh, I can't this guy right here.
Yeah.
That must be Israel though for you.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
That's a problem.
I'm like, sorry, Sanjay, I'm a little slow.
It's like Israel, you know?
Yeah, if anybody has any more questions, we have about 5 more minutes set aside for this, for either of us. We'll kind of hang out for a few minutes. Noah, what is the best place for in the Chiron? What's the best place for people to connect with you, kind of learn more about you? I know we had 35 minutes here where we kind of talked back and forth, but um, is it just reaching out to you on those phone numbers that you have listed there? Do you have an Instagram where people can follow you, YouTube channel or anything like that? Feel free to shout it out. I put mine right here.
Right, right. I didn't come prepared at all, you know? Something, you know what? That's something that I feel like I need, I'm good. I have to do it, you know? I have to have a better social media. For now, you can call me. You can call me, you can text me. That's amazing for me.
Yeah.
But it's so important, you know, to have presence on social media, you know, even for people to vet you out.
Mm.
And that's something that I definitely need to work on. I need to do an Instagram and YouTube, you know, and everything.
Yeah. I like to
Uh,
look at it kind of like it's a peek behind the curtain too. Like my Instagram is, well, it's very rarely, I guess, about real estate. It's more about the other things that we're doing in our life, so people can kind of come and connect with me on a little bit deeper of a level, so to speak. So, I'm taking pictures of my peach tree or we're out on a run and I'm gonna um take a video for Jesse saying where are you. um so it's like a little bit more of a peek behind the curtain. I know everybody does things a little differently, and as we start really building out our buying machine, you probably will see some more real estate stuff on there, but it's more about my personality and what we're doing as a family and a group and together. I've been using it a lot to like just prop up the people that I've had on here as well. Like, hey, go check out this podcast. Noah Lubko is doing crazy things from Tel Aviv, coming over here and visiting the U.S. twice, but talking to agents and locking up deals. So um, I will definitely link. Holy moly, things are blowing up. What is the most, oh, here's Jesse coming in with the really deep stuff. Um, what's the most impactful experience that have you've learned? Oh, see, he brought the question out that I kind of had. So like kind of what's the biggest lesson you've learned over the past 12 months, good or bad?
Good or bad?
Yeah.
Um,
So you put him on the spot.
yeah.
Take 3 minutes here to make it a good one, and then we're gonna
No,
sign
no,
off.
no, you know what? You know what? I think that I've learned in subject two, really. All right, I have some, and we've touched them on the podcast already. But the fact that you can be a part of the team, you just need to bring your own value, and you don't have to know everything. You don't have to do anything. You just have to find that place that you need to bring your value, and it could be amazing. If you can bring your value, you can so the wheel can go on, and for me I'm just bringing leads. That's
Yeah.
it. And there's someone else that's closing them, and there's someone else that disposition them, and but I'm bringing the leads. So that's all. In a team, you just need to find your own value. That's one lesson that I've learned.
Yeah, that's something that I actually mentioned on my Q&A yesterday with Pace's team. Like, no matter kind of where you are in your journey, everybody has value that they can bring. Whether you've done a deal, no deals, or you've done 100 deals, like everybody has some value. I'm curious from your kind of mind frame coming into the joining this team with Chris, how did you portray your value to him? And kind of what made him kind of take you on as a caller?
We just did a Zoom. I smiled. We said, "All right."
That was it.
No, actually, what? Pace had a Zoom where he mentioned the five most important things to do in real estate,
Hmm.
which I can't remember any of them right now, of course. And but at the end of the Zoom, he set up an Excel sheet with the leaders in subject two, and every leader mentioned what kind of things he does, and what his expertise. And I just went on a Zoom with Chris, and we figured it out
Yeah, he
as
sounds
along,
good.
you
Yeah,
know. And yeah, you know what? I really like him. He's a great person. You should all connect with him also. And I'm hoping to work with you and with him in the future.
yeah. We're definitely going to stay connected, Noah. We're it sounds like you guys had a connection. It's funny. That's kind of what we're doing right now is we're hiring an operations manager, which is why we have to cut this a few minutes short because we have interviews coming up in a few minutes that I got to get on. If for anybody out there listening, do you have you've said so many great things. Any like kind of parting thoughts of wisdom before we sign off?
Be good. No, you know what? That's a great question, but I definitely feel like we've touched on a lot of things. My 2 cents for anything I think in real estate or maybe in life, you just have to find the right thing that you need to do, and then when you understand what it is, you just have to grind it until you're gonna be as good as you like.
Yeah. We did have a kind of a late question, and I'm just gonna kind of field this one again from Jesse, always making me think. If someone doesn't know their value, what advice would you give from them? I would say, kind of something that's very helpful is just writing down one, starting with all the things that you've done and like what skills and things you've learned. But then as you're talking to people, it- find out what they're doing, where their needs are, because if you just start saying, "Hey, I'm great at IT and I can talk to sellers and stuff," they might just be shutting you down right off the bat because that's not what their needs are. So like asking good questions, "Hey, what are you working on? What are your goals? What are your roadblocks? What are your hurdles that you're kind of facing right now?" will allow you to kind of say, "Oh, you know what? They need this person and that kind of fits my experience here. So now I can talk to them about them." But everybody that joined live, I appreciate you. Um, thank you so much for coming on here, Noah, and being my guinea pig all the way from Tel Aviv. I think you have a few more hours of calls to make, maybe.
Yep,
Are you going to take a
definitely.
break after this? Yeah, no. You're like, no, I got calls to make. I got to keep honing my knife. It was a pleasure. This was a great adventure with you. I'm pleased to have you come on with me later, everybody. Oh, I don't know how to stop it. I'm just going to close the window. I think that worked. Would you like to send me a like a headshot, or do you want to just do like the that I've been doing?
Right now.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay.
But I can still, you can see something YouTube. It still shows YouTube on my end.
Oh, it's still on. Am I still live? No, it has that shit off. Let me see. Oh, I'm still live. Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how to shut it off. Holy moly.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, I think
it's
you need to close the Zoom, maybe. That's the only way.
yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna close it off. Well, let's take our little thumbnail pictures if you want. It's a pleasure having you, brother. We'll
I,
definitely stay connected. I wanna follow your path.
I appreciate it,
I'm gonna
Nathaniel.
go see what the heck's going on with this screaming toddler.
I still don't know exactly what you exactly are doing. So
Oh,
we need to have another conversation.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I gotta go use the potty before these interviews start. Um, but yeah, let's connect and I'll let you know what we're doing because you're actually you and your team are somebody that we want in our circle of influence.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's,
So, all right, brother. I'll shoot you. Oh,
thank you.
you know what? Oh, I have your number. Shoot you a text.
Yeah.
Later, Noah. Appreciate you, brother.